All right. Welcome everybody to day 2 of the 5-day challenge of Be Your Own Hero. So thanks so much, everyone. I can see lots of you have been watching the replay and I appreciate that. Haven't seen anyone post up into the group as of yet, their values, and that's okay. But if you can, just drop in your top 3 values. Let us know if you've got an intention, what you want to get out of this, because I've got something really special to gift everyone that's on tomorrow's call. But if for whatever reason, work and etc., life, you're unable to make it, if you are active in the group and you have been staying engaged, I will still honor that free gift to you as well. Okay, so just a quick recap on yesterday, because we're kind of building a foundation here for you. And then tomorrow and from there on in, I'm going to be getting more into the tools. But today we're still sort of getting the foundation laid for you in your mind so that you can see how the rest of it kind of, so that when we get stuck into the practical side of things, that you, it makes sense. Okay. And you're like, yeah, I can see how this will work. Okay. So yesterday we talked about values and how values trigger our stress responses. We talked about, I'll just pull my little diagram over here. We talked about how when the mind is balanced in the middle, we can see the big picture and see our soul's purpose. But when we start to get polarized, we only have access to, we're not seeing the big picture when our mind is polarized. We're only seeing all the drawbacks or all the benefits. And you're not accessing your soul. And also the thing about being stressed is also for those that have health and well-being as a high value, then it doesn't matter how organic you eat and how much you juice and all the rest of it. If your mind is polarized and you're in a stress response, what that does physically to you, no amount of eating well and exercise will be able to overcome that, because you're starting to send mixed messages to your physical body as well. So as you can see, there's many benefits from understanding what your values are and being able to guide your mind back to the center. And that's what we're going to be covering over the next few days. So yesterday was when we looked at values. Now keep in mind also that when you are challenged and when you're today we're going to be talking about belief systems, and when your belief systems are challenged, your body goes into the same, the parts of your brain light up as if you are being physically attacked, or that you're in physical danger, because that's how strongly we hold onto our belief systems. So fortunately yesterday someone said, I've never really heard much about limiting belief systems. So I'll just do, let me just share with you quickly what belief systems are. So essentially, we, this is formed when we're a small child, and we have belief systems, things that we believe to be true about the world. And they form our beliefs about the way things are, what things are. And it's meant to be that way, because our belief systems are kind of like our markers of how we navigate our way through the world. And it also means that when we're in a situation, rather than having to process it right from the beginning each time, when we have belief systems, it enables our brain to kind of just download almost like a pre-recorded schema about, okay, that's how that is, that's how, that's what happens in this situation, so that we can cut down on our processing time. Okay. So for people that say, oh, I don't prejudge, and, and that it's kind of like, we all judge because that's what our mind does. So when people say, oh, no, I don't judge people and I see people for who they are, the reality is that we judge people. If you've ever, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, if you'd been walking down the street late one night and you saw somebody, a male in a red hoodie, and coming towards you, and maybe even approached you, was aggressive, whatever. Now all of a sudden that gets downloaded into your schema, and I'm using this as a real generalization. And what happens is, next time if you see a male at night and you're in that situation, all of a sudden your body goes back into that stress response. Or even if you see someone in a red hoodie, your body can go straight into that stress response. So when people come to me and they say, oh, I get panic attacks or I get anxiety, and it absolutely comes out of nowhere, It actually doesn't. What it is that there's a bunch of stuff in the background, belief systems about the way things are that have been laid down that have not been balanced out. And all of a sudden we start to react to things in our environment without really knowing why, because we're getting triggered by like little things that are happening in our environment that our body and our mind and our physical like nervous system perceives as a threat. Because your body, our system works, it's the opposite to the judicial system. We work on guilty until proven innocent, okay? And that's kind of what your belief systems do. If you've got belief systems that have been set up in an overly cautious way, you will start to operate from that, okay? So I hope that makes sense to everyone. By all means, flick me messages, let me know, post up into the group if you want clarification on any of this. And also, if you are watching this online at the moment, hit subscribe to my channel as well so that you get these updates as they come through, so that you can basically take yourself through the course without having to jump in Facebook all the time, unless, of course, you've got a question. Okay, so when we're looking at limiting belief systems, I'll start with money, okay, because that's usually a really good one. If you have a look like, what your parents' belief systems were about money, you might have lived in a household where they were like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, money's the root of all evil. All of a sudden you start to get these distorted perceptions about money. Money doesn't come easily. Or you might have lived in a household where it was like, where there was really positive belief systems around money. Money, money does come to us, freely and easily. And, money is available to us, or, there are positive belief systems around money and negative. And depending, I use that as an example, because if you look at your parents and what they believe to be true about money, there's a really good chance that that you believe that as well. Okay, whether you consciously think you do or not, subconsciously, that's the message that's being sent. So when it comes to belief systems, the hardest part is actually identifying them, because it's quite challenging to work them out when we're dealing with ourselves. Okay, but if you can start to, so what I'd like you to do today for today's challenge is to start to look at, okay, what are some beliefs, what are beliefs that, that I have about the world? Start to think about, and let's not polarize this. Let's think about what are three positive belief systems that you have about the world and 3 negative belief systems. So I'll give you a couple of examples of what I'll give you an example of a client that I worked with one day. Now, and I bring up money because usually money is a thing for people that usually people are like, oh, why do I feel like I'm constantly self-sabotaging myself when it comes to finances or my career or whatever. So if that's you, if you are somebody that feels like you self-sabotage, or that you're just not attracting opportunities that are really allowing life to flow for you, this is, we look at belief systems. Really, that's the first place that we look, because when you know what your values are, the first thing is when you know what your values are, and when you're setting goals and you're heading in a direction that's in line with your values, but then you're kind of start and things feel like they're kind of just going in oscillation. You feel like you're never kind of really progressing. You're just, oscillating. And what I mean by that, like, for example, have you ever got out of a relationship because it just wasn't working, or a job because, the people that you were working with were terrible. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'm clean slate, I'm going to get rid of that. And then you find yourself, 6 months or 12 months or, whatever down the track, and you're like, I'm back in the same spot. Like, I thought this person was going to be different that I've got in a relationship with, but, I feel like I'm going over the same stuff. Or I'm in a job and it's like the same challenges are coming back up. It's like there's different characters in my story, but it's the same story that's playing out. Okay, so be very honest with yourself, because it means it's not the rest of the world, it's you attracting it. You're co-creating that experience, because there's something that you still need to learn within that. Okay, and values and beliefs, this is the foundation. This is where we start to look. Okay, and tomorrow we're going to be looking at fears, then the day after shame and guilt, and then we're going to be looking at conflict resolution. If you can piece them all together, you can actually start to approximate yourself in the middle and take an evolutionary step forward. Okay, that's really what's available to you here, so that you're not attracting the same shit. You can actually progress and attract different shit. Okay. So I hope that sounds and I'm saying that tongue in cheek, because we will never escape our challenges, but what you will get better at doing is choosing challenges that are in alignment with you. Okay, so you'll choose your challenges that you know are helping you head in the right direction. Okay, and head in towards something that is satisfying and fulfilling to you. Okay, that you're not just kind of getting caught up in the chaos and drama and just feeling quite drained at the end of the day. Okay, so if that's you, if you're someone that feels quite drained with life right now, this is your roadmap out of it. Okay, absolutely guaranteed. Okay, so belief systems. Now I will share a story, because I think that this helps illustrate it more than anything. I had a client who was on one of these calls a few years ago, and I'd been doing some work personally with her as well. And her values were her business. She had a great business structure and really, really good, but for some reason she kept sabotaging it. She was in marketing. She just couldn't crack like the $5,000 per month, it was painful to watch, because she was so good at what she did, but she just kind of couldn't crack about $5,000, which was barely paying the bills for her. She certainly, running, with $5,000, there's still expenses, it was barely paying the bills. And so her business was a high value, but spirituality was a very high value to her as well. And when we went and I asked her, what are your belief systems? What were your parents' belief systems around money? And she said, oh, well, my dad always used to say that, rich people aren't spiritual. Wealthy people and rich people, they are not spiritual people, because money is the root of all evil. That was something that was instilled in her as a very young child. Now, she said this in a group call. She kind of put her hand up and was the example. And, because I was sort of asking for examples, and she said, oh, this has just occurred to me. This is what my dad used to say. And I was like, really? Wow, that is so not surprising, because I just said to her, Jess, your highest value, one of your highest values is spirituality. So even though your business is high, you've got this belief that if you make a lot of money, it means that you can't access your spirituality. And she was like, oh my God, yes. And it was like, as soon as she recognized that that was just a belief system and it wasn't truth, it didn't need to be her truth. Because then we started to look at what are the benefits of having money and being spiritual. And she was like, well, first of all, I'm not stressing. So when I'm like, if I'm not stressing and living in fight or flight, because she was like, living in fight or flight out here, like living in chaos is not spiritual. When she started to recognize that actually regulating her system and finding her center, and being, and making money so that she wasn't in fight or flight was actually going to help her be really access her spirituality even more. And it was like we just watched this like light bulb go off in her mind. It was like really quite empowering to watch her recognize that this was just a belief. It was not truth. It was just a belief system. But the thing is with our belief systems is we will keep creating scenarios to reinforce our belief systems. Okay, let me say that again. We will keep co-creating. So if you want to know how to manifest, this is it. You will keep manifesting and creating situations to reinforce your belief systems. Now, why would somebody do that? Because it feels safe and it feels familiar, and we know this. And then we don't have to question what's right or wrong about the world. It's like, this is the way the world is. And if I keep creating this, then that feels safe to me on some level. Okay. So the first step is to recognize what the hell's going on. Now, you're not going to change, there'll be a part of, for Jess, there will always be a part of her that believes that spiritual people are poor. But once she recognizes, oh, that's that pattern playing out, she can actually do something about it, which she did. When she came back to us the following couple of weeks, and we were on the call, and I was like, how's everything going? How did that belief go? She was like, oh my God, you are not going to believe it. She said, I've just signed over 8 grand's worth of business, and it was actually a week. There was a week between when we saw it, because we often did just weekly calls. She said, I've signed like, 8 grand's worth of business just in 1 week. She said, that's like double a typical month for me in a week. And she said, and I've got these amazing clients. So that's the power of recognizing your belief systems and where they've come from. So for tonight, this is what I'd love you all to do. I'd love you all to write down some belief systems. What is it that's going on in your life right now that's really causing you some distress? Okay. Do you have a belief system that that your money's a good one to have a look at? Do you have a belief system that you're powerless, that you're not worthy, that you're unlovable? All of these belief systems here. And where are we? I've got a little cheat sheet here of like typical belief systems. Where am I? Let me read some out just to kind of, these are the core sort of belief systems that come up for people. Now, where was it? I had it only yesterday. I was reading through. Okay, so I'm unworthy is a really typical one. I'm not worthy. So can you imagine, what are you going to be creating in your life if you're constantly having to confirm this belief system of I'm not worthy? Okay. And this is somebody that will tend to take things personally. Unconsciously, you're kind of setting things up to be rejected, to kind of reconfirm that belief system. Another belief is I'm not good enough. This is like often the overachiever. If you are somebody that likes to overachieve. And also if you should yourself a lot, if you hear yourself saying, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, then yeah, perhaps there's a belief there that I'm not good enough. Another core belief is I don't belong. Another one is I need to control myself or control situations. So, I mean, like that in itself, I mean, like trying to control yourself and control situations. I mean, wow, that's like, that can trigger a lot of anxiety just in itself, because we know that that's really hard to do, right? We know that we can't control the world around us. Another belief that I can't trust myself, or I can't trust others in the world. When you have a belief that you can't trust the world, that puts you in a highly stressful situation before you even set foot out your door. Okay. I'm insignificant. I'm invisible. I don't have capacity. Okay. That's another belief. Like I have to just stay really small because I don't actually have capacity to like grow into my full potential. Another belief is that there's a right way. There's a belief that this is just the way things are. It's like you're kind of like, okay, there's nothing I can do. I just have to like, accept that this is the way things are. And if you're somebody that really, if you're somebody that has, dived down the rabbit hole and looked at those sorts of things, this is one that does come up. This is the way things are, and there's nothing I can do. It's, it's just how the world is. I'm powerless. If you believe that you're powerless, you will try and make yourself powerful, but then create situations where you're not powerful to reinforce that. It's quite exhausting. I need to be perfect is another belief, or I'm not allowed to be capable. Okay, so they're just some core beliefs, but really beliefs can be anything, as the example that I gave. They're just markers of how you see yourself in relation to the world. Beliefs are what keep us separate. So they allow us to experience separation within our physical body. But we all know that, at the level of the lower mind, we're separate, but at the level of the higher mind, we're all connected, we're entangled, we're one. But I'm not going to get too far into that, because that's like, I could do like a whole five days just on that concept alone. But beliefs is, we're not going to be able to change them as such, but we're going to learn how to navigate them so that they're no longer running us and controlling us. Because by the way, your belief system served you when you were a small child. Your belief systems actually absolutely served you, but I'm certain that there will be beliefs in there that are no longer serving you. I mean, a typical one, whoever went to the shopping center with their mum, food shopping day, you're sitting in the trolley and you're grabbing at things at the shelf and your mum's saying, no, put that back. You can't have that. And then what's the belief that starts to form? I can't have what I want. I'm not allowed to have what I want. So you can see how just these general little everyday things that are so harmless, because of course your mum can't just let you have everything that you want in the supermarket just so that you don't distort your belief systems. I mean, your mum wouldn't even know that that's what's happening. So, but these everyday little things when we're a kid that we take so literally, because we don't have the capacity when we're a small child to filter it out and go, oh, that was just applicable to that situation. And we start to put these blanket things and assign them meaning that is actually not there, that is not truth. Okay. So if you're if you're just sort of getting knocked around by belief systems and you don't have awareness around them. Also, by the way, if you found the values really difficult yesterday, oh my God, I get you. The first time I did that worksheet, I remember just looking down going, what? I don't know what I think about. I don't know what I spend my money on. But persevere with that. Just do the best that you can. But also, if you did find the values difficult, just know that's possibly a really big indicator as to why things are not going smoothly for you right now, that why things are stressful. Okay. Because if you're not really aware of what is important to you, it's really hard to self-regulate. It's quite challenging, that this really is a journey of self-discovery, because, as we kind of learn more about ourselves and how we work within the world, we can start to then learn how to self-regulate our system. Okay. No different to, we know how to self-regulate a small child because we're sort of like the authority. We can see down, when a small child's like, going crazy and, like really having a hard time regulating themselves. We know what to do to kind of, pacify them, soothe them. We know what's important to them. We know how to link what they're going through to the future. This is just innate. We naturally know how to do this. But it's really hard to kind of self-regulate ourselves when we don't have a higher understanding of ourselves, because the child can't often self-regulate the child. So it's like we're kind of, allowing the authority within us to self-regulate, the stressed part of ourselves. So I know, Danielle, you're the only one that's on the call at the moment. Did you have any questions about any of that? Is that making sense? Let me know if you can. So for tonight's challenge, all I would love you to do is to write down 3 limiting belief systems, and let's have some fun with it. Do you have some belief systems that are actually really positive? Do you have belief systems like, I'll give you an example of a positive belief system. Like, I make friends really easily. Wherever I go, I just make friends easily. Work always, I always land, I always find work when I need it. That's another one. That's a belief around your vocation. A family belief would be, what would a family belief? My family supports me and shows up for me when I need them. These are positive beliefs. And then, negative beliefs, let's just, I've used the money example. A belief, you can have a belief of, I don't know, an unexpected bill always shows up exactly when I don't have the money. You can have these sort of distorted beliefs as well. So I hope that that's made sense for everyone. It's jump on tomorrow's call if you can. It's kind of, it is challenging for me to run this when people don't show up. So please show up tomorrow, which of course means that I can keep running these for free. Okay. If you guys show up, share this with your friends. There is still time. If this is valuable information and you do want to share this with friends, there is still time to do this. And these recordings will only be available to the end of the week. So look, when you start to understand what your beliefs are, you really, you really start to, it's like having a bunch of apps on your phone, but you don't really know how to use them. It's like, what's the point? Like you want to learn how to use your software here, right? You want to like jump in and see what all these things can do for you and start directing them in the direction that is of value to you. Because I can guarantee these belief systems are having an impact on your life right now, whether you're aware of them or not. So now's the time more than ever to understand what's going on, so you can start directing, your future in a direction that is powerful for you. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Yeah, lovely, well, obviously on the replay. Thanks, Danielle, for showing up. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Please jump on tomorrow's call because I do have a special gift for everyone that does make it on. So I shall see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Donna. Thanks for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Danielle. Bye.
Bye.